The National Works Agency NWA says illegal dumping could affect the cost to construct the South Coast Highway Improvement Project. The project, that's expected to be completed next year, is being done at a cost of over $200 million. O'Shane Masters has the details.
The $229 million South Coast Highway Improvement Project from Harborview in St. Andrew to Yallas in St. Thomas is ongoing. But the contractor, China Harbor Engineering Company Czech, says people are illegally dumping in their work area. Large portions of lands were purchased by the government from residents under the land acquisition process.
Now, you'd have seen loads and loads of old buildings to include blocks, steel, tiles. We'd have seen entire embankments that would have been removed from other locations, dumped within what is now the right-of-way.
Stephen Shaw says the illegal practice may not affect the project's completion timeline, but that it could add to the cost to construct what's expected to be a 4-lane highway.
We have paid millions of dollars already to clear these areas. And so what this is suggesting is that we'll have to find additional money that is not in our budget as it relates to the contract that we have for the execution of the works, to again clean these areas that persons would have come in and illegally dump their waste.
In an update, Mr. Shaw says at the moment, the contractors are building some key structures that will form the critical basis of the highway. He says the contractors are making progress. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
News overseas now. A U.S. State Department official is warning Ethiopia and Eritrea that it might impose additional sanctions if the violence and atrocities in the Tigray region do not stop. It comes just days after CNN reported witness accounts that soldiers there beat and rounded up hundreds of young men from displaced camps. Both the U.S. and the United Nations are demanding their release. More from the CNN.
Just days after the United States announced financial sanctions and visa restrictions on Ethiopian and Eritrean officials that they say they believe are complicit in violations in Ethiopia's Tigray region, CNN was sent this video, filmed secretly in Shire town in Tigray. It shows desperate parents gathered at the UN offices in Shire, desperate to hear word of their loved ones who they say were taken away by Ethiopian and Eritrean soldiers, forcibly detained and beaten. CNN shared this investigation's findings with the United Nations, and the resident coordinator has called these detentions arbitrary, saying that they are serious violations of humanitarian law and calling for the immediate release of these young men. We also shared our findings with Senator Chris Coons, President Biden's envoy to Ethiopia, and he is also calling for the immediate release of these young men, saying that if they are harmed or if they are not released, then there must be accountability.
And for the latest to the world of business, we now go to Javon Keys with the Business Minute.
It costs more for players in various industries to produce goods for the month of April. In the latest Producer Price Index PPI, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica Statin says output prices for the manufacturing sector went up by 0.5%, while the cost for production outputs for the mining and quarrying sector went up by 4.6%. The increase for the mining and quarrying industry was buoyed mainly by an uptick in the cost for bauxite mining and alumina processing, while an increase in the index food, beverages and tobacco, as well as chemicals and chemical products, impacted the manufacturing index. Mayberry Jamaican Equities will host its 4th annual general meeting on Wednesday, June 30, 2021 at 1 p.m. The event will be streamed live from its St. Lucia base to shareholders at the Knutsford Court Hotel in Kingston. It will also be streamed live on YouTube. And Lasco Financial Services has delayed the submission of its audited financial statements for the 2020-2021 fiscal year. The company says the delay is due to challenges associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. Lasco Financial Services says it hopes to turn in its audited records on or before July 14, 2021. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Javon Keys.
Time now for sports. Know the facts. That's the cry of Jamaica Cricket Association President Wilfred Billy Heaven in response to criticism by two local coaches over the handling of the sport during the COVID-19 pandemic. Jerome Foster reports.
In a swift response to criticism from coaches Kirkland Bailey and Carl Robinson on Wednesday, Jamaica Cricket Association President Wilfred Billy Heaven has sought to clear the air on the JCA's stance on the resumption of the sport in Jamaica. Both coaches took issue with Heaven's statement that club and parish association cricket might not return before September, despite the SDC Community T20 competition commencing last weekend. Heaven explained that the decision was taken to avoid a schedule congestion.
We are working with an end of September timeline, given all that is happening at the moment, given the SDC competition which is taking place, and given also the fact that the JCA will be hosting international tour here in Jamaica at Sabina Park in August.
Heaven also explained that there are other factors which affect the JCA's decision.
In order to obtain an approval, the authorities must be certain and must be in a position to provide the level of supervision of different agencies, by the way, the supervision necessary at these different locations. Now, if that is not contained, it will put an extraordinary pressure on the authorities to do that.
As it relates to clubs, Heaven says those stakeholders are aware of the plans to resume cricket.
In terms of the clubs and the associations, the JCA has provided $400,000 to each club and association to conduct camps in preparation for the restart of cricket. We have received 14 plans so far, and the program is going very well. The JCA has also launched a talent identification program across the island to enable the national selectors to identify talents at the age group level.
Jerome Foster, TVJ Sports.
Now, TVJ Sports understands that when the Jamaica Premier League kicks off on Saturday, June 26, Harbourview and Mount Pleasant Academy will get the competition underway in the round-robin phase of the competition. The day's other game will see Dunby holding opposing Cavalier. On June 27, Uwe and Tivoli Gardens will battle in the Curtain Raiser, which will be followed by former champions Arnett Gardens opposing Humber Lion. Defending champions Portmore United square off with Malines United in the first match on Monday, June 28. The first round of matches will close out with Waterhouse squaring off with Vere United. And that's the Midday News. I'm Vashon Brown. Don't forget to join us at 7 for Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, have a good afternoon and a wonderful weekend.